Most people applying for remote sales jobs are doing it completely wrong. It's not the same way as applying for a traditional job. I've placed 47 people into high-ticket remote sales roles from coaching companies, AI companies, SMMA, e-com offers. And the gap between what companies want and what people think they want is absolutely massive. By the end of this video, you know how to place yourself like the top 10% of candidates. Thousands of people are applying for remote sales jobs and hearing nothing back. And the reason is because you're positioning yourself wrong. You say to yourself, I'm a good salesperson, why am I not hearing anything back? It's because you're not speaking the company's language. Okay, if you've applied to over 10 high-ticket remote sales role and you've not heard back from at least 5, this is for you. When you apply for an high-ticket remote sales role, it's very important to speak the company's language. Let me explain what I mean by this. If a company says, why should we choose you? This is not when you start talking about, oh, I've done door-to-door sales before, I've worked well in a group, I've sold windows in the past, I've sold cars in the past. They don't care about this. This is irrelevant. This is where you need to speak their language and present yourself as a problem solver. So for example, give examples like, okay, in my last offer, when I joined, I realized why prospects weren't showing up. After I implemented my new idea, our show up rate increased by 30%. They want someone who's going to come in, fit in, and make a change. Not talking about all your past sales experience. They really don't care. They want a people's person. Let me give you another example. When you say to a company, oh, I want to work from home, I like the work-life balance, it's like saying a Ferrari is reliable. Everyone knows that. So when a company says, why do you want to work from home? This is your opportunity to show them why working from home is more effective than you being in an office. So how do you structure your day? When you wake up, what do you do before your calls? So you tell them, okay, when I wake up, I look at the prospects I'm going to speak to for the day and I prepare for the call. This shows them they can trust you from working from home and you will fit in into their environment and their culture.
So what I done was I spent 3 weeks analysing job postings from AI companies, marketing agencies, coaching business. I categorized every requirement from nice to have to every red flag they mentioned. I then compared this to what successfully placed students actually did in their applications. I then figured out how to speak their language fluently, how to actually stand out and not just sound like the rest of applicants. This then gave me something most people don't have, the complete picture from both sides. Job posting and the successful candidates. Okay, so let's get into it. So insight 1, what I noticed was when companies say they're looking for an experienced salesperson, what they really mean is they're looking for someone who can actually solve their specific revenue problems. Most business owners don't actually want someone who can just talk well on calls or close deals. So what I'm trying to get to is they want someone who understands why their current sales process isn't working. Maybe their close rate has dropped. Maybe leads are booking in calls but not showing up. Or maybe prospects are consistently saying, I need to think about it. These are problems, not just sales situations. So that's why when you apply for an high-ticket remote sales role, you need to position yourself as a problem solver, not just a salesperson. You're not just there to sell. You're there to diagnose what's broken in the funnel, the follow-ups, the offer, or even the mindset of the prospect, and you fix it. Show that you can identify where money's leaking in their system and create solutions that will drive more revenue. Because at the end of the day, companies are your closers who can actually think, not just talk. They don't need another order taker. They need someone who understands business problems and knows how to create consistent results. When you start framing yourself in that way as a strategic partner who solves revenue challenges, you instantly separate yourself from 90% of other applicants who are just listing sales experience. Okay, let's get into insight 2, another thing I noticed. When companies say they want someone who's self-motivated and independent, they don't actually mean they want a lone wolf who does everything their own way. What they really mean is we need someone who can follow our proven system without ego. In high-ticket sales, the top performers aren't the ones who just reinvent the process or do things their way. They're the ones who are coachable, people who can take feedback and apply it fast, and staying consistent with the company's framework. Because most businesses already have a sales process that works. They just need someone who's disciplined enough to trust it and execute it properly. So, when you apply for a remote sales role, don't try to come across as someone who's, I can do everything myself type. Instead, show that you're adaptable. You take direction well and you value structure. So, give examples like, I've worked under proven frameworks and love refining my approach based on feedback, or I'm great at taking constructive criticism and implementing it quickly. That's what companies actually mean by independent. Someone who doesn't need to be micromanaged, but still follows the playbook. Because when you show you're coachable, humble, process-driven, it tells them you'll integrate fast, represent their brand properly, and start closing deals without friction. So, insight 3. When a company says sales experience preferred, they're not just talking about how many years you spent selling. What they really care about is whether you understand their market and their customers. Because think about it. If you already understand their industry, you'll automatically get the type of clients they target, the pain points those clients will have, and the kind of language that actually moves them to buy. That's way more valuable than just being good at closing generic deals. So let me give you an example. Let's do a fitness offer. If it's a fitness coaching offer, they want someone who knows how the fitness industry works, how the clients think, the emotional triggers, the common objections, the frustrations. If it's a marketing agency, they want someone who understands what the business owners struggle with: the lead quality, ROI, scaling, retention. That's why when you're applying for a certain role, you need to focus less on showing years of experience and more on showing that you've done your homework. So research the company, learn who their ideal client is, what problems they have, and how their offer is positioned. Then use that knowledge in your application, in the interview, or in your mock calls. When you speak their customer's language, it instantly builds trust. You sound like someone who actually belongs in their world. And that's what gets you hired. Not just experience, but relevance. Okay. Let me get into insight 4. Another thing I noticed, guys. When a company says opportunity for high earnings, what they really mean is we need someone who can help us hit specific revenue targets. It sounds exciting on the surface: uncapped commissions, high potential earning, massive opportunity. But behind those words, there's always a clear business goals. Because maybe they need to scale to 300K a month, or fill 40 coaching spots a week, or increase their closing rate from 40% to 60%. Every sales role exists because the company has numbers they need to hit. That's why your job as an high ticket closer isn't just to sell. It's to understand what numbers are and show that you know how to reach them. You need to think like an entrepreneur, not just a rep. So when you apply, talk about results in terms of outcomes that align with their goals. So let me give you 2 examples. So I helped the previous team increase their monthly revenue by 40% by improving my follow-up process. Another example you could give. I understand your offer runs on book calls converted at 25 to 30%. So my focus would be improving lead qualification and follow up consistently to hit those numbers. That kind of language shows you get it. You're not just chasing commission. You're focused on the company's growth. Because in high ticket sales, you need people that stand out, not just closers. They're strategic partners who understand the bigger picture. When you show you can think in terms of revenue targets, not just calls and commissions, you become the kind of person they want in their team. So let's get into insight 5, the final thing I noticed. So when companies say they're looking for a team player, what they really mean is, we want someone who fits our culture and won't disrupt what's already working. Every company has its own rhythm. How they communicate, how they celebrate wins, how they handle pressure. And in high-ticket remote sales role, culture matters more than ever because you're not in the office. Everything runs on trust, communication, and alignment. So when you're hiring, yeah. Mhm. So when they're hiring, they're not just asking, can this person close deals? They're asking, will this person blend into our way of doing things? Will they take feedback well? And will they keep the team energy high? That's why cultural fit often outweighs pure sales talent. You need the so what I'm trying to get to in this one is that you could be the best closer in the world, but if your energy clashes with the team's tone or you don't align with the company's values, it's not going to work long term. So the best way to stand out is to mirror their communication style. So if the company's tone is relaxed, collaborative, match that energy. If they're fast-paced and performance-driven, speak the language. Show that you thrive under their structure and goals. So let me give you an example. So you can also mention things that show their alignment, like I value transparency and feedback. I've found that's still key way to staying in sync with the team. Another thing you could say in your application is, I love working in environments where everyone's thriving to grow and improve together. Those small things show that you're not just looking for a role, that you're looking for the right environment to contribute to. Because at the end of the day, companies can train skills, but they can't train attitude. Cultural alignment is what makes you someone they want to keep long term after you're hired. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you exactly one of our closers, Kai, use these 5 insights to land a 5K month role. So this is his original application. I will then show you his up-to-date application. So I'll just give you a little bit of a background. Our Remote Sales Academy, how it works is when we refer you to a role to apply to, we will look over your application before we submit it. The reason why we do that is because we know exactly what this company wants. So we will make sure your application speaks the company's language. That's why we guarantee a role. Just going a bit off topic, most companies who train you and place you, they can't guarantee placement because they don't have a relationship with these companies like how we do. So we know exactly what you need to put in your application to get a role. Let's go. So let's go through Kai's original application. Why do you want to work with our agency? I really like how the results you get for clients, and I think my experience in closing high-ticket deals could help take them with the load of your team and bring it more consistent revenue. What's your experience in sales? I've been in sales. Just give it back on. These were the questions that the companies asked, and this was his response. Mainly remote sales for companies, usually closing around 3 to 10K. I've also worked with setters and handled follow-ups through CRMs and go high level, which that's good. I'm confident on Zoom because these are not wrong answers. That's what's weird. They're not wrong answers, but it's just generic. It just sounds like all applicants. If I had objections, once I understand that, I just bring it back to what they told me and what they wanted and cussing them to fix the problem. Keep the convo calm and real. That's not bad. What motivates you in sales role? I like being direct. Results of my work. When I close a deal, I see the results get. I see the client get results after. That's the best part. I also like the pressure of targets. It keeps me sharp. I'm competitive, but also big on teamwork and helping the whole team. It goes together. Okay. The thing is, this is not wrong. This is not wrong, but it's just generic. I'm going to show you his other application. Up to date one. Okay. So this is going through Kai's up to date application. So, why do you want to work with our agency? I've been following your agency for a while now. It really stood out to me that I'll dial in your marketing system. You guys, this is really important that you see this all up to the application because you can just copy it for your own applications. Okay, let's go back to it. I've seen a lot of agencies that struggle with that part, so it's clear you already have that figured out. Usually, when that's the case, the next big bottleneck isn't the marketing itself, it's conversion, actually turning those leads to paying client. That's where I come in. I'm not just someone who likes to close this for the sake of it. I like to look at this full sales process and find where things might be leaking. Oh, this is great. Now it's showing that he's a problem solver. I'm not here just to take my commissions, but I'm here to actually try and fix the system, see what could be improved. This is what companies want. I enjoy figuring out what's actually holding back the revenue and fixing it. Amazing. I also really like how he positions himself. It doesn't look like one of those sell anything to anyone kind of agencies. You actually seem to care about getting results for your clients long term. I'm big on that. I just don't want to sell. I want to make sure the people we bring on are the right fit so they stay and get results. Honestly, I like the kind of culture you have. Clear communication, track results, keep getting better. And I'd fit in really well with that type of team. Okay. So, what's your experience in sales? I'm just skimming through it, guys, so you can just see where it's improved. I'm sure already you can see the improvement from the over application, just from the first answer. Not because it's longer, because it's more detailed. It's speaking the company's language. Okay. What's your experience? But I've learned it's not just about how long you've been doing sales, it's about how fast you learn and how well, you can follow a proven system. I would say my biggest strength is being coachable. Being coachable. Exactly what companies want. They don't want someone who just comes in thinking they know it all. They want someone who can absorb new information well. I don't come and know everything perfect, Kyle. Everyone has their own process that fits their brand and their offer, so I make sure I adapt fast. I've worked with a few founders and really structured frame that, and it's always helped me improve because I could see what actually worked. I'm comfortable with feedback. I like being pushed to perform, and I stay consistent with whatever process is working. I really like this about the application. I also understand the number behind what I'm doing: short rate, close rates, average deal size. It helps me see where we can tweak the system. So yeah, I've got experience, but more importantly, I've got the mindset to solve problems, learn fast, and fit into the team without friction. Out on objections. I don't see objections as a bad timing to make. Just move on here. I don't use pressure or weight tactics. It always backfires. I keep becoming real and honest. Real and honest. That's really important as well. It even shows that the type of characteristics Kai holds. A transparent, characteristic, honest. Someone who they needed. Something they want in a team. So it's always been solid, great. No. Sure. Okay. I also make sure my tone matches the companies I'm working with. If the agency brand is more relaxed, I keep it conversational. If it's more performance and results focused, I keep it sharp and professional. That's part of representing the company well, keeping consistent with their tone and values. It's great. So from the last one, he just talked about how he's a good objection handler. But here he's actually talked about how he's going to reflect the company he's closing for, which is what they want. What motivates you in sales role? Honestly, what drives me most is seeing progress, not just in targets, but helping the whole system perform better. That's great. I love when companies share clear goals. I'm also big on culture. Culture is a great one because as I mentioned before during the 5 insights, is that you're working remotely. So these companies have to trust that you care and you need to fit into their culture. You could be in an amazing close with a 90% closing rate, but if you're not a people's person, if you can't fit into their culture, it's not going to work long term. All the trivia get paid my little wins and look I do my best work with the team's energy. I like working in fast paced agency settings because it's always changing, new offers, new campaigns, new clients. You have to stay sharp, keep learning and keep adjusting. It's great. Guys, just to stop it. If you had a company and you want closers to put an application through and you read this application, would you not say, wow, this person will fit right in with my company's goals? You will. This is how you speak the company's language. Just follow this. It's not just about commission to me. It's about being part of something that's growing and knowing I played a part in that. It's great. It's really great. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go through back the 5 insights. And what we'll do is we will just see how Kai actually followed these 5 insights step by step. I'll go back. So insight 1. Okay. In the old version, Kai said all the right things, don't get me wrong. He'd worked with marketing offers, helped clients close high ticket deals, but it was vague. It made him sound like another capable rep. In the new version, he flipped the focus completely. Instead of saying, I'm good at sales, he explained how he approaches sales. As a problem solver, he talks about finding where the sales process might be leaking, whether it's qualification, follow-up, or how the offer is framed in a call. That shift instantly changed the perception of him. Now, he wasn't just someone you could close, he was someone who could improve systems. And that's what founders care about most. They're not hiring salespeople, they're hiring problem solvers who can look at their systems process, diagnose what's showing conversions. Sorry, what I'm trying to say is they're looking for someone who can diagnose what's slowing conversions and fix it. The owner literally mentioned that he wrote like someone who already understands how a sales system works and how to improve it. That alone separated Kai from the rest of the, and that separates Kai from all the rest of the applicants because he's coming here saying, I'm ready to solve a problem. I'm not just there to take a commission. I'm a problem solver. Okay, insight 2. This was done really well by Kai. So a coachability instead of independence. In the first draft, Kai came across confident and experienced, but not particularly adaptable. It was all about self-motivated and independent. And while that sounds great, but founders often read that as arbitrary. So in the updated version, we built in proof of coachability. He mentioned that he doesn't come in thinking he knows everything. He knows how the company's process works, follow their system first, and then optimize it once he's integrated. So that line alone communicates discipline and growth mindset, all qualities that business owners love. And that's the difference. Coachability beats independence every time because companies aren't hiring for ego, they're hiring for execution. So let's go into insight 3. Just to stop here, guys. If you just, when you submit an application for an iTicket remote sales role next time, if you just follow these 5 insights and you follow Kai's example in the application, your response rate is going to increase. It's just guaranteed to. Okay, let's talk on insight 3. Industry understanding over generic experience. In the original version, Kai sounded like a normal applicant. He mentioned remote sales, inbound calls, CRM tools, which is all solid, but it's generic. It doesn't tell the agency what he understands in their world. In the repositioned version, he spoke directly in the language of the marketing agency space. He talked about funnels, lead generation, client retention, and how agencies care about ROI and long-term relationships. Sorry, not just short-term wins. Okay. So yeah, that's what industry knowledge really needs. Not just listing tools, but speaking the same language as the business you want to join. Just put yourself in the shoes of a company owner. If you see an application of someone who's speaking the language of the company already, you're gonna be like, yeah, come on board. You know exactly what we're looking for. You know what terms our prospects will be talking. So you'll fit straight in. So let's move on to insight 4. They're hiring for specific revenue goals. So, another major improvement was how he talked about motivation. In the old version, Kai said he liked targets and pressure. That's all good, but everyone says that. It focuses now on personal performance, not just company outcomes. Okay, let's go into number 5. Okay, another major improvement was how we talked about motivation. In his old version, Kai said he liked targets and pressure. That's all good, but that's what everyone says. Now it focuses on, so when you talk about like your targets, like in pressure, it just focuses on personal performance, not company outcomes. Now the new version goes deeper. He said he enjoys working with companies that share their revenue goals because it gives him something concrete to aim for. He mentioned that every call, every follow-up, and every close is part of hitting those bigger numbers. Because when companies are looking for closers, it's mainly because the company needs to make more money. So they've got a target. And if they're airing on your application that you're looking for the bigger number, looking to improve the company's targets, the company is going to look at this and think, well, this guy ain't just there for commission. He wants the company to grow, and he wants to grow with the company. So it made him sound like a strategic partner, not just an employee. So let's go to the last one, Insight 5. This was really done well by Kai, and I think this what really sealed it for him. So in the old version, he finished with a generic line about teamwork. It was fine, but it's forgetful. It's forgetful. Honestly, your last part of the application is where you got to leave that mark of, you need to hire me. So in the updated version, Kai expanded on it. He talked about culture, communication, feedback, accountability, and the most important of working in a performance-based, ego-free environment. No one on earth wants to employ someone who has an ego. He thinks they know it all. He thinks they can just walk into any company, improve it. They don't want that. He showed how important it is to work in a team energy. And it's really important, man, because working remotely, the team energy is very, very important. It's not like in the office where you can all have lunch together. He wasn't just saying like teamwork. He was describing how he contributes to an healthy, high-performance culture. So I remember the owner said something. She said, he sounds like someone who would actually fit our energy, which is so important. Honestly, this is about being a people's person. It's not really about being an amazing salesperson, knowing how to address every objection. Because when your energy is right, people feed off that. People want to be part of. People want to build a team where everyone's energy is good, not someone who's got a 90% closing rate, but when it's time to do a sales scrum, talk as a team, the energy's off. No one wants that. So the reason why Kai stood out in this updated version is because the business owner said his answers didn't sound like they were written from a template. They sounded like they came from someone who understands how a business like ours operates, because he spoke their language throughout. Okay. It wasn't just more detailed, it was positioned differently. Every paragraph spoke directly to what the founders actually care about. Solving problems, following systems, understanding the industry, helping the company hit numbers, and fitting into the culture. Kai's updated application showed that he's not just a closer, he's a thinker, he's a learner, he's a team player who can slot right into an existing system and make it better. Not try to join in with big ego saying, I'm going to change the whole system. No. When you come across cocky or you come across like, I've been in the best closers in every team I've been in, they don't care. No one wants someone big-headed in their team. That's why they just, picked up his application straight away and didn't see just another salesperson, saw someone who could help scale the business. That's the power of positioning. When you write an application that's built on understanding instead of self-promotion, because these applications you put into is not to put yourself as a pedestal. It's to show that I'm ready to join a system that's working and I want to improve. I want to be the best, but I also want the company to be the best. So yeah, that was really good from Kai, and now he's smashing it. He's on the roll. I think he's due to do about an 8K month in commission. So it's great, man. Okay, so I'm going to do in this section, I'm going to go through the 3 most common objections that I get from people in the DMs, from past students, before going into iTicket sales. So the first one, the major one, this sounds too good to be true. And honestly, I get it. I actually get it. Because you see all these TikToks, Instagram reels. I made 30K in a month working from my laptop in high ticket sales. And it's easy to roll your eyes because 99% of them never show you the work behind it. And here's the reality. This isn't some get rich quick scheme. It's a skill based profession. Okay. It's like any high income skill. It takes practice. Okay. And you can't just open a few calls and start printing money. You're learning a full skill set: psychology, communication, tonality, objection handling, discovery frameworks, deal management. Okay. Most people underestimate how much goes into it. You're not just selling a £20 product. You're helping someone make over a £10,000 buying decision. So that requires trust, confidence, and control on the call. And those things are built, not gifted. Okay. So daily role plays, going through your call recordings, rehearsing your tonality. Let me talk about one of our closers, Masri. He joined our training about 2 months ago. He practiced every single day. Okay. And let me show you something. What he's done this month. Okay, so this is a chat with the offer we placed Masri into. It's called Keza Studio. It's an app building company. That's a deal Masri closed, £4,750. And he's on course to wrapping up a 29K deal this month. Let me show you my chat with Masri, one of our closers. Okay, so he's already made 1,800 in commissions this month so far. And he's on track to close a 29K deal. The reason why I'm showing you Masri's story is that once the skill is there, the income follows automatically. So yeah, this sounds too good to be true, but until you realize that people winning in this space aren't lucky, they're trained. They've put in the hours to sound confident and ask the right questions and to lead conversations that convert. This isn't about hype. It's about mastery. And if you're willing to treat it like a real profession, you're going to change your life just like it did for Masri. So the second objection that I get told a lot, it seems like I'm lying about who I am. So I hear this mainly from when we're about to place someone into a role and fixing the application. So the main thing is it's translation, not deception. So think of it like this. Okay, let me give you a good example. When a project manager applies for a marketing role, they don't say, I've never done marketing. They say, I've managed timelines, stakeholders, and completed campaigns. That's positioning. Let me give you an example. Sarah, who worked in healthcare, she put in an application. So she put something like, okay, I've worked in healthcare for 3 years. I know how to give difficult information to patients and show empathy. And this got her hired by a coaching company because empathy is a top sales skill. Let me go to the third and final one. Okay. This is very, very common. It's really common when we say to someone, okay, we found you a fitness offer, and they say, but I don't have industry experience. I can't do it. Okay, it's totally valid because most people assume that companies only want closers who have experience in the industry. They've not worked in any other offer. They've already done 10K a month, but that's not really true. Okay, the truth is, sales is about transferable skills. If you've worked in customer service, you already know how to handle unhappy people. That's objection handling. If you've worked in recruitment, you've already done cold outreach and persuading people to take interviews. If you've done hospitality or retail, you've read people's emotions and adapted on the spot. That's exactly what top closers do on calls. One of our students, Jacob, he came from retail. He learned how to ask discovery questions so well instead of pushing products. He's already made £2,000 this month in commissions because he already knew how to talk to people. What I want you to do now is go and find 5 job listings in your target industry. That could be SMMA offers, fitness offers, marketing agencies, and I want you to put an application through. But I want you to put an application through going through the 5 insights we've gone over today. If you put an application through before in the past, you will see how your response rate is going to increase. High ticket remote sales is not a get rich quick scheme. This isn't crypto, it's not trading, it's not drop shipping. It takes time. We say it takes about 60 to 90 days as a beginner to getting placed into a role. So you need to put the work in, because if you put the work in, you then make life-changing income. We have helped countless students get placed into a role, and
and we guarantee placement, unlike any other training. The reason why we guarantee placement is because we know exactly what these company wants. So that means when you put your application through, you're speaking these companies' language. If you're looking for guidance and you want to get placed into an high-ticket remote sales role, you've been applying, and you're hearing nothing back, click the link in my bio and let's work together. How getting placed look like? So when you join us at Remote Sales Academy, you get access to our online training. That online training includes things from tonality, your communication, how to do discovery section in a call, how to address objections. It will also include live call recordings from our coaches, so you can see exactly how an high-ticket remote sales call goes. And once you complete that training, you'll then do role plays with the coaches. When we see that you are good and you can get placed into a role, you would then get access to these applications and submit applications to these companies to get placed. So they would say this takes around 60 to 90 days. But if you're quick and you're like Masri, sometimes it can take a month. If you're tired of meeting targets, meeting pointless targets, having to listen to a fat boss who doesn't care, who just sees you as a cash cow, then escape your 9 to 5. Life is too short to be doing something you're not happy. You're waiting for 4 weeks in a year to take a holiday. It's not life. High-ticket remote sales is a good way to even make money on the side. If you still like your 9 to 5, you can still keep your 9 to 5. And in the evening, you can still do calls. So what you can do is, a lot of companies are based in the States. So for example, so you do a 9 to 5, you're in the UK, do a 9 to 5 by 8 p.m. America's awake, so you maybe do 2 calls a day, and you can make about £3,000-4,000 extra money every month. So thank you for watching the full video, and I'm sure that what you've learned today has shown you how to get placed into an high-ticket remote sales role and literally change your life, like many of our other students: Jacob, Masri, Lewis, Sarah, Natasha. It's an opportunity to change your life. If you're someone who doesn't want to start a business, start things from scratch, this is an amazing opportunity for you. So what I want you to do, just reach out to me, let me know how it goes as you're submitting these applications. Thank you very much. Like and subscribe.